As he approaches the remainder of the Austrian Grand Prix weekend, Lewis Hamilton and the Ferrari drivers are aware that they have a tough job on their hands. They're not where they wish to be, but they're certainly not out of it. One of the most important points Hamilton continues to emphasize is the inconsistency from Formula One weekends. Even though he was almost a second down on pace in second practice, the Brit remains optimistic about potential improvements overnight and on Saturday. Hamilton's experience equips him to read between the lines of performance data. He knows that sometimes the issues aren't always on the surface. "We'll make some adjustments and hopefully we can get a little bit closer," he said, suggesting that overnight tweaks could reveal a more optimal setup window. But he's also pragmatic. "We won't be at the front." That realistic appraisal reflects both the performance data and his belief in reading it. Ferrari's development path continues to raise questions. Despite the effort that went into the new floor, the SF25 doesn't seem to be benefiting significantly. Hamilton is careful not to discredit the team's effort, but makes it clear the results must eventually match the intent. He's patient, but only to a point. "A huge amount of work went into bringing the floor," he repeated. "But the competitiveness just isn't there yet." As Formula One approaches its midpoint of the 2025 season, the pressure starts to mount. Teams are balancing in-season improvement with preparation for 2026's regulation revolution. For Ferrari, that tightrope is even tighter with Hamilton in their long-term vision. They're not only constructing a car for this year, they're constructing a platform that needs to carry them to success in the future. Hamilton's presence in the garage has already introduced tighter focus and increased expectations. His steady but authoritative voice holds sway in engineering sessions, and although he's not loud critic, he's obviously challenging the team to get solutions fast. "It's just a huge chunk off pace-wise," he reiterated. "We need to look into that." The message is explicit. Something basic isn't quite right, and they must fix it. In spite of the tough beginning, Hamilton won't give in to discouragement. He is still one of the paddock's toughest drivers, and his attitude still prioritizes progress and development over discontent. He's had tougher Friday sand emerge better. He understands a bad Friday doesn't make a race weekend. The Austrian GP circuit layout also provides him with a thin glimmer of hope. Its long, high-speed straights, heavy braking sections, and rapid changes make the Red Bull Ring notorious for producing upsets. Qualifying is unpredictable on account of traffic and track development. A clean lap can set a driver far higher than they deserve to be, while an error of just a fraction can send them down to the back of the midfield. It's a thin lineone that Hamilton has mastered over the years. From a tyre point of view, Hamilton admitted that hot weather in Spielberg might introduce another factor. Ferrari has had issues at times with tyre wear, especially in very hot conditions. The team was hoping the new floor might assist in aerodynamic stability and tyre life, but it is not yet known. "We'll attempt to optimize everything," Hamilton explained. "That's all we can do at this point." Hamilton's position at Ferrari is ongoing, but already it's evident that he's influencing their developmental agenda. This weekend may not deliver a podium or even a top 5, but it's part of an unfolding narrative. Each practice, each lap, is part of an extended process zone Hamilton understands will take time, clarity, and precision. Of course, Hamilton stays calm. Where others might spiral because of the pressure of a tough weekend, he sees it as part of the process. His mindset shows maturity and vision. Even as he talks about the struggles, there is no panic in his Tonate's determination. "I don't think the car is rubbish," he replied, reiterating that the fundamental balance was not far adrift. What is lacking appears to be pure lap time. In Formula One, that's usually the toughest thing to get and the easiest to knock. Hamilton takes no shots at the team or the car either. He identifies what can be done better and where energy should be aimed. Ferrari's engineering group will be working late through the night, dissecting the telemetry, poring over the data, and comparing both cars. With Leclerc ahead but not dominant, the issues appear to be systemic rather than driver-related. That should help Hamilton's case as he pushes for specific setup changes and deeper analysis. Approaching Saturday, attention will turn to maximizing qualifying. Grid position is everything at the Red Bull Ring. With a very short lap and minimal chances of overtaking outside DRS zones, starting close to the front can have a huge impact on the potential to score well. Hamilton is aware of this and will insist on a one-lap focus setup, even if it sacrifices long-run speed by a fraction. Nevertheless, he's not relying on miracles. "We won't be at the front," he confirmed, maybe to set expectations as much as describe reality. But even middle grid results will have their worth, particularly if employed as benchmarking points for continued progress. Hamilton's vision is one of equilibrium. He desires to win, but he also is aware of the stages of constructing a championship team. His capacity for maintaining poise in the face of adversity is one of the reasons why Ferrari clamoured so intensely for him. He does not merely bring velocity, he brings order and a championship attitude. As he gears up for Saturday's sprint shootout and overall qualifying session, Hamilton will be looking to make inroads in corner entry stability, slow-speed corner traction, and overall consistency. The expectation is that with clean running, he and his engineers will be able to get more out of the new package. If Ferrari can deliver a better setup direction overnight, a top 6 finish remains possible. And in a season as tightly contested as this one, every point counts. Hamilton knows that even a few positions gained could play a pivotal role in shaping Ferrari's development focus heading into the next rounds. Ultimately, this weekend might not be recalled for fireworks, but as yet another important checkpoint within Hamilton's assimilation into the Ferrari model. The learning is ongoing, the development ongoing, and the drive to the top never ending. 7-time Formula One world champion Lewis Hamilton is another navigating a difficult weekend, this one in Austria. Even after a feeling of cautious optimism going into the Red Bull Ring, Hamilton finished Friday's practice with a dose of reality. Ferrari's highly anticipated upgrading a new floor on their SF25 did not bring the breakthrough they were expecting, and Hamilton, who also faced technical difficulties, was only 10th in the timesheets. The opening day of practice at Spielberg didn't unfold as Hamilton or the Ferrari camp would have liked. With Lando Norris setting the benchmark and Charles Leclerc, Ferrari's lead driver, only managing 5th several tenths behind McLaren, it was evident that the upgrade hadn't delivered a dramatic shift in competitiveness. Despite the substantial effort Ferrari put into developing the new floor package, the early signs suggest it hasn't paid immediate dividends. Hamilton, as the consummate pro, was given credit to the efforts of the team but was frank about the absence of gains in performance. "A tremendous effort was put into getting the floor," Hamilton said. "But as you can see, it has not necessarily altered our competitiveness." His was a reflective tone rather than one of frustration, and while he did not specifically rule out the upgrade's potential, he underscored that its effect had been negligible thus far. Right from the start of Friday's practice sessions, Hamilton's weekend was marred by technical issues. He had to deal with a gearbox problem during the first practice session, which limited his running on the track. Such an interruption, particularly on a sprint weekend, where the window of track time is small and every lap matters, can have a huge impact on setup choices and rhythm going into qualifying and the race. After the gearbox problem, his mechanics had to rush into the replacement work, which was later commended by Hamilton as a great job by the team, highlighting their efficiency and dedication. This notwithstanding, the on-track performance fell short. "The car doesn't actually feel that bad," he said. "It's just a huge chunk off pace-wise." That deficit a full second to Norris's time had Hamilton and his engineers perplexed. It wasn't a matter of a balance issue or an undrivable car, but an elusive deficit without a clear correlation to one area. Hamilton was frustrated but rational. He understands better than many that F1 development is a marathon. The art of assessing upgrades, marrying them into a car's design concept, and realizing their full potential isn't always straightforward. But in a championship where margins are thin and the competition as tough as it is, each race missed is a chance lost. "We'll just keep pushing and trying to dial the car in more and see what we can get," Hamilton said, obviously determined to get the best out of what Ferrari has brought to Austria. He also referred to the close spread across the top 10, where incremental gains can make a huge difference. "A tenth makes a difference," he added, "so that's what we'll focus on." That sentence sums up both the problem and optimism. Yes, Ferrari might not be on the pace of Red Bull or McLaren, but there is still room to refine and battle for a superior starting position. Compounding the day's complications was the absence of long-run data. Due to the gearbox problem in FP1, Hamilton did not get to finish his race simulation runs, an important component in learning tyre behaviour and fuel load effects. That sort of data is even more valuable in Austria, where tyre wear and varying track conditions can have a huge impact on strategy. "We didn't get the long runs in," Hamilton reported. "But I think we recovered all right." He was obviously grateful to the mechanics for trying to get him back in contention for FP2, but even so, the deficit to the frontrunners was still intimidating. Meanwhile, Ferrari's situation is emblematic of a broader challenge. The team continues to chase consistency and clarity in development. While Leclerc managed to outpace Hamilton slightly, he too found himself significantly adrift from the front. The narrative is familiar. Ferrari introduces a major upgrade, expectations build, but the performance step proves more incremental than transformative. This isn't a crisis, but it's certainly not the leap forward the Scuderia had hoped for. Hamilton is realistic where things are at. "It was not spectacular," he conceded. "But there is lots of learning. That attitude is a product of experience." With almost 2 decades in Formula One, Hamilton has experienced the highs and lows of development swings and knows that evaluating an upgrade's actual worth takes time and various data points. Still, time is not something Ferrari can afford to waste. With McLaren continuing to impress and Red Bull's Max Verstappen as relentless as ever, Ferrari's window to close the gap this season is narrowing. Every race is a test not just of performance but of direction. Are the upgrades working? Is the team extracting the most from them? Is the car's fundamental philosophy correct? The Austrian weekend might not give all the answers, but it's already giving some crucial clues. And Hamilton, even in a challenging Friday, always has the option to flip things around. The Red Bull ring is quirky its short lap, altitude changes, and inconsistent grip levels can tend to tighten the field and present opportunities. Hamilton has witnessed too many dramatic Saturdays and Sundays to dismiss a weekend after a disappointing Friday.